Welcome back to the Pitch Pod. My name is Joe Janner. With me is our host of the show, Jeff Stebbins. Jeff, how you been?
I've been well. Thank you, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine here. Looking forward to a scorching heat wave approaching the Midwest of the States here. Today's a nice day, but keeping busy. Looking forward to lots of good soccer matches to talk about, and that's why we're here, the Pitch Pod.
Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff going on, so a lot of stuff to cover. You're right.
We looked last week at Chelsea versus Liverpool. I thought Liverpool was going to dominate in some sense and win it 2-0. Missed the mark there. Jeff, remind us, how did you see it? Or what did you look at? Or what were your predictions from last week?
Yeah, I thought it would be a 2-2 draw, and was pretty close. It ended up being a 1-1 draw, and actually 2 goals could have happened. That would have given me a ring dinger. But overall, I thought it was a fun match. I thought it was a competitive match. I was pretty happy. I think the fans of both teams should be pretty satisfied with how they looked this early in the season. So it was a fun match, and I enjoyed watching it. So I'm sure Liverpool would have appreciated the win, but it was a well contested match, and that's all you can ask for.
I think for first game out of the gate, both the sides probably answered a couple questions that they would have had, and then from there be able to make these adjustments moving forward. Yeah, like I said, obviously both would have liked to get the win. I think either could have gone either way, but I think the draw was fitting for where they were. It was like more so first half excitement, and the second half kind of dropped off in terms of opportunities and chances there. But good game.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure everyone watched it, and I imagine everyone at Chelsea Stadium was just having a blast. So I have no complaints, and no, there wasn't an outstanding play, and there wasn't a whole lot to discuss outside of the score line. Things kind of happened as predicted, and close contest, but no, nothing too notable for this first match.
Right on. And then we're gonna look at our selected match of the week. We still focus on the EPL. But before we get there, I think we have to really. We're looking at a World Cup final to take place here, England versus Spain coming up. Here after lots of games, lots of good outcomes. From all the countries involved. I think here we are with 2 top teams ready to face off for the final. I think we all should be pretty excited. Any initial thoughts, predictions on this, Jeff?
I think it's going to be a really close game. Both teams are great and well suited for this final. If the tournament's going as it has been thus far, one would think, hey, 1-1 draw, PK shootout, right? And so I could see that happening. But I'm going to go to a different route with my prediction. But I'll let you go first on this one, Joe. I'll go first on the next one.
Well, sure. I think you have a Spanish side that's been done well to possess the ball and be able to create chances and get the job done there. And you kind of mentioned it, alluded to it. If it runs the course of how many of the games have gone out, end up level, going into extra time, into a penalty shootout. But I don't, not this one. With all things considered, I think with the Spanish side, as good as they are, still trying to put together a couple things I think that would get them past this line to be champions in this game. I was just seeing England winning this one. I think that they have the means to score probably at least 2. And so I have them winning 2-1.
Yeah, this doesn't happen very often, Joe. But I'm going to go. I'm agreeing with you on the team. I agree with the score. The only thing I was thinking, I do think England's the better team, even though maybe Spain has maybe a better individual player, but overall I think England's better. And the only other direction I would go in would perhaps be like we mentioned, a PK shootout at the end. But I agree with you, and this happens pretty rarely on the pitch pod, but I'm going to go 2-1 England as well.
All right, so we're all in. Look to see how it turns out. It's early morning game here in the States. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to look at it. I know there's going to have many, many eyes all over the world on the game. I'm excited for everybody. Best of luck to both teams, and we'll have to see how it turns out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then quickly transitioning to what we had selected as our match of the week, back to the EPL, looking at Spurs versus Manchester United. You had a Spurs team that drew 2-2. You had a Manchester United team that won. Really close in the tables there. They got still early. Of course, I think they're going to go out and both sides looking for a win. They're going to need it here, as there's plenty of other teams that have been performing well. Any insight on as far as where you would go as far as how this turns out, or you have an idea of what might transpire, or any key aspects or points you wanted to discuss?
Well, I've been impressed ever since Ten Hag took over at Man U. So I'm expecting him to come out and be ready, even though it is early in the season. So I think Man U is going to be looking for a big win here. And as far as the Spurs go, they had a pretty decent season last season as well, but losing Kane as their number 9, as their striker, I believe he signed with Bayern Munich. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, I think we didn't address that. I think that's going to be something that's going to definitely be shoes literally that need to be filled. I mean, you got Eric Carlson. That I mean, you're still just waiting for him to turn up and be the player I think that the Spurs would have hoped for in that acquisition in the past. So I mean, yeah, I think there's going to definitely be opportunities for them to go out and find that player. How do you replace a Harry Kane? I don't know who's available out there. That's something to look into. But I think they're definitely, as far as performance wise and the goal scorer, are going to be missing that.
Yeah, they're going to be missing him. He's still young enough. I believe he's only 30, and he's already the club scoring leader, and I think he has several good years ahead of him. So yeah, he's going to be missed. The Spurs fans will definitely miss him. How much so this season will it change the outcome? I don't know, to be determined. But going into this, that's the top thing on my mind is no Kane for the Spurs.
And I think it's worth mentioning. I mean, I did suggest or did say that Manchester United got the win in their first game, but it wasn't a good performance. They were able to nick a 1-0 win. You got to do that. You got to figure out a way. That's a lot of times the mantra of teams, especially early on, looking to get points and move and get into good positions early on in the table. But you have to think Ten Hag probably learned a lot. You know, we talked about answering a lot of questions in the first game. Probably, hopefully, has put together some of the aspects of what he needs to do through training out this week to prepare that. I really have Manchester United as a favorite in this one. And since I think the personnel, the system, it's kind of similar to what we talked about before, having a little bit more experience with that squad and the inner workings of the club, better prepared for his side to perform this upcoming match. So I have Manchester United winning this one.
Okay, okay? Fair enough. I agree. I agree with what you said, and yeah, Man U's first game, it wasn't a quality win. Maybe not against the best opponent. So those are good points as well. Um, I think throughout the season, Man U is going to have a better outcome, better results. But because this game is at Tottenham, they're playing against the Spurs. It's early in the season. They're not quite in the top form. Coming off a lackluster. Yes, it was a win, but it was a somewhat lackluster uh, performance. I think it's going to be closer than what it would be if they played again later in the season. So I'm going to go a 2-2 draw, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rashford put one in at some point in the game. But I'm going to go 2-2 draw.
That's kind of what my thoughts were as far as Rashford showing up and getting on the scorebook, if you will, for the season and open up an account for this campaign. So I definitely saw that happen. I think you got a supporting cast of other players there that are looking to help and support and scores well. I've Manchester United winning this one 2-0.
2-0. Okay. Certain victory. Well, that seems fair enough. I think it's going to be a fun game. I'm looking forward to tuning into it, and hopefully everyone out there gets a chance to tune in. But yeah, thank you everyone for viewing. If you like what we're doing here at the Pitch Pod, the best way to support us is please hit that like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, keep pitching out there, everyone.
In a game, the round ball, round posts, anything can happen.